Okay, I see this cable's on the ground. I wonder if that means bad news. We'll find out. Nope, it hooked up, so we're good. This is 1B. One of the things you can do, okay, so when you're at a Tesla Supercharger post or dispenser, however you want to call it, and you find it's not working, one of the things you can do is just leave it on the ground. Leaving it on the ground is slang for this one doesn't work. And sooner or later, Tesla will send somebody out to check on it. Okay. In this case, the dispenser was on the ground. I mean, the cable was on the ground, but the dispenser was working. So the alternate way to look at this is that somebody just had a hard time getting the plug back into the dispenser. Now, one of the knocks I've heard on Magic Dock is that it's harder to get it to connect back up when you plug it back into the dispenser. Then this is a Magic Dock one here. So there is that possibility that somebody just had a hard time putting it back in. The other possibility is there are those people who go around, nothing better to do in their lives but to unplug cables. And I've encountered that too. So don't look at a cable on the ground and say, oh, I can't use that. I mean, in this case, I was the only one at this site. I could have chose any dispenser. I just happened to choose this one because I just wanted to see if it would work. Okay. So, as a user of Tesla products who charges a Tesla car, you might want to have more reliable service. And more reliable service means you plug the plug back into the dispenser when you're done. On the other hand, if you want to make Tesla look worse, yes, you unplug every one, and then, you know, why are you driving a Tesla then? Okay, there you go. Just because the cable's laying on the ground or handle's laying on the ground does not mean it doesn't work. Okay? So if push comes to shove and the only dispenser available is this one that has a cable on the ground, it may be worth trying it just to see. Now, the other way to look at this, I guess, is sometimes, and the weather's not going, I mean, okay. It is possible when it's hot or when it's warm, the handles get hot and slow down. Okay, that's not an easy thing to fix. And with the version 4 dispensers, I mean, they're working on making things more cool down better. Okay, but that is another possibility, is somebody had problems with it. I mean, when I went to Three Rivers, Texas, they had version 2s. It was a warm day. I mean, by Texas standards, it was a warm day. It wasn't hot. It was warm enough, though. In this case, I think it was more every single dispenser was being used. If there was one open, you only had to wait a couple minutes and it was busy, right? I mean, I pulled in at the end and I thought, okay, I have, as soon as this other guy leaves, I'll have all the juice from the cabinet I'm plugged into. He pulled out, I think within 45, maybe 60 seconds, somebody else pulled in. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, I guess, is just carrying on a little bit further. I wanted to, but in this case, I was going down to the SpaceX launch, right? That's why, and coming back was, oh my goodness, even worse. So, if there's a popular event, and in particular, if it's a popular event for Tesla users, things are going to be busy. And the same thing, I went to Boston. When am I traveling? Over Thanksgiving weekend. Now, going up was not Thanksgiving weekend, but coming back was more or less Thanksgiving weekend. Although it wasn't horrible. And let's face it, most people, if they're going more than a couple hundred miles, let's say 500 miles, if they're going more than 500 miles, they're flying, right? So I'm just one of the nuts who's used to driving and actually likes it to some extent. So there it is. Okay, anyway, the bottom line is this. If you plug in and it doesn't charge at all, leave the handle on the ground or hook the handle over the bottom of the version 3 dispenser. I mean, you can't do it at version 4, but essentially just lay it on the ground. That signals to Tesla that there's something wrong, and they'll send a technician out to look into what the problem is, right? So that's the slang for that. You can also do a check-in on plug share. However, to me, plug share is something that the other guys use, and I don't use it. I pretty much trust Tesla to do a pretty good job of making sure their equipment works. That's not always the level they provide is not up to the level I expect, but they're expanding like crazy. So anyway, onward, upward, peace and harmony. Don't get upset if you find a cable on the ground. Just try it and see if it works. On the other hand, I've had one cable where somebody pulled out the pins. Who does that? I don't know, but whatever. Overall, this is much, much better than the other guys where I encountered somebody driving Mercedes and they were sitting there waiting. They couldn't do anything else but wait. Fortunately, technicians were in the process of doing an upgrade or something. That's why it was down. But it was down. There was no place else for them to go. On the other hand, because I have the NACS port in my car, of course, it's Tesla. There was a Tesla Supercharger, 4 miles away or something like that, at Buc-ee's. So, I get some of you people who say, well, I can't buy a Tesla because of okay, fine. I didn't buy a Tesla because of somebody's political beliefs or what people think their political beliefs are. I bought a Tesla because it's the best car. And I use Tesla Superchargers because it's the best charging network. Okay? And unless you're driving a VW and a handful of other brands, go ask all those other guys what their plans are for 2025. What's that? Yes, they're switching to you. They're enabling using, they're putting in the NACS connector, and they're enabling using Tesla Superchargers. Okay? If that's not an endorsement, I don't know what is. Anyway, peace and harmony. Just be patient, okay? And be nice to each other.